trying to introduce this video.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to our 2022 Houzz.com and Godsey Creative Studio Video Tour. Since the launch last week, we had a bunch of people reaching out wanting to see the space, and we thought we'd create this video to kind of show off what we have and what we do with it.
Obviously, we're in an industrial complex right here. We're actually in North Tempe, just south of Tempe Marketplace, and we landed on this location for a couple reasons. One, it's central to town. Two, it's right in the middle of Justin and I. But it's also conducive to the space that we're looking for. We wanted something with really high ceilings, something that was very lofty, and something that had a lot of open space. So you'll see that as we head inside.
And from the early onset, this studio space was always a joint venture between Mike and myself, both for Houzz.com and Godsey Creative. For me and on my end, it's really going to elevate the type of content that I'm able to collaborate and create with my clients. And then for Houzz.com, it's really going to elevate what we were already doing, which is leaning into video and becoming a brand that's all about high quality video production.
Cool, so let's take a look on inside. Follow us in. Oh, one thing before we walk inside, we want to talk about this decal right here. We ended up going with something perforated so you can actually see out, but you can't see in. But we just wanted to mark the studio with something really unique. That's actually Justin's camera right there. All right, let's actually go inside now.
First thing that you see when you walk in is what we call our office space. And this is actually meant for working, editing, meeting with clients. And with everything else in the studio, this was the last thing to get finished. So we still have a few more things that we're gonna throw some shelves on the wall, spruce it up a little bit more with some artwork, but this is the office. Now, let's go actually head into the studio. All right, so behind us you can see what is called a cyclorama wall, and it grabs your attention when you walk in because it's huge. It's 20 by 25 feet, and building this thing was no easy task. But anyways, the purpose of a cyclorama wall is really to create the illusion of infinite space. If you've seen The Matrix.
This isn't real.
Or you've seen those, "Hi, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC" commercials. We could actually have Brendan kind of change the focal length here. If you can, yeah, turn it in and out there, and you can kind of see us, you know, and you don't know where the room ends.
As Justin said, this is 25 by 20 feet. We wanted it this large, so it's conducive for shooting a lot of different things. You can get a full band up here. You can bring a car in here. We specifically placed it in the back corner of the studio for a couple reasons. One, it fit best here, and it left us other options to have different spaces. But two, we've got a pull-up garage right here in the back of the studio. And if we wanted to shoot a car or a band or something that required a lot of equipment, it was very easy access to bring things in and out.
Yeah, and as far as lighting goes, we rigged up 4 Aperture Amran 200X lights with the Aperture Space lights on top of them to diffuse that light, to light the cyc. And then obviously we have lighting to properly light the subject accordingly to the project. So we love our cyc wall.
One thing that we don't love about the cyc wall is that it takes a lot of maintenance. So just walking on it right now, it was perfectly painted right before we started. By the time we're done, there's gonna be probably a couple dozen footprints on here. Now, that doesn't matter if you're shooting something like this where you can't see our feet, but if you're having a shot where someone's dancing or you need to see something on the lower half of their body, this entire thing needs to be painted completely before you start. Now, it doesn't take a lot of time. The problem is that you need to do it a lot. So we've only been open for about 2 weeks right now, and I think I've painted it 5 or 6 times already. So it's just something that requires a lot of maintenance.
I haven't painted it yet. I should probably...
That would be nice if you helped. Yeah, thanks.
I'll take a turn painting the cyc wall. Should we move on?
Yeah,
right.
let's go. Now, right across from the cyc is our lounge area. Now, this was designed so that you could take a break. Maybe you've got an entourage, maybe you've got kids that need to be entertained, but either way, the lounge area behind us is very versatile. You've got chairs, you can move things around. Obviously, we've got snacks and drinks and coffee and magazines, anything that you would really need in a lounge.
And the other cool thing about this space that I love is that ultimately this is another area to shoot. So you can easily dress up this space to look like a living room. This area can double as a podcast location. At the end of the day, it's really just versatile, which is our goal with this studio, to create a space where every inch can be used and utilized to create different vignettes and backdrops and really just maximize our space.
All right, now right off of the lounge is our bathroom and dressing room area. Now this bathroom was an original 1950s bathroom when we got in it, so we gutted the whole thing. Got a new toilet, vanity, lighting, toilet paper holder, literally everything. And then we also added these mirrors behind us. We've got a full-length mirror here so you can check out what you're looking like. And then we've got our Hollywood mirror here to my left. So you can do your makeup, you can take all the little goop out of your eyes, all that little kind of stuff. So this is kind of our changing, getting ready area here.
All right, now behind us is what we call the cage, but it's really just storage. We keep tripods, lights, diffusion kits, different props, and whatever needs to be stored goes in there. Another extra sense of security for the place.
Now this seems just like a basic cage, and it is, but getting this thing constructed was not very easy. I called probably 10 to 12 different companies to get this done. We ended up with All Pro Fence, who did an amazing job, by the way, but we had it custom made, and it had to fit in a very particular space so that we could store everything without taking up too much space from other areas. Now, in addition to this cage and it protecting all of our equipment, this entire studio has 10 cameras and an alarm system. Obviously, there's some expensive stuff in here, and we want to make sure that nobody takes it. Next up is our backdrop area. Now obviously behind me is the step and repeat for house.com. Justin's got one too, but this backdrop area can really be anything. We've got a green screen, we've got the step and repeats, we've got black, yellow, green backdrops, whatever you want. What's also cool is we can move this space into the cyclorama and really shoot some really cool shots. In fact, our team shots were shot there. Now we're gonna move to our last space here, which is our podcast area. We've gotten the most questions about this, what we can do with it, how it works. So Justin's gonna take it from here and show you what's up with it.
Yeah, like Mike said, a lot of people have been asking about the podcast space. It's personally my favorite location in the studio, and really it's because of the versatility. I keep coming back to that word. But this space, I had a vision for it years ago, and now it's a reality. And what's cool about it is we put the wood slats on the wall, and we put the sound panels over here to kind of give it a nice clean aesthetic. But other than that, you could take the House logo off. You could dress up the lights however you want to. These desks are actually stand-up desks, so you can push them up and do a standing podcast, or you can use this space to do some product shooting. Ultimately, make it look however you want it to look and make the podcast your own. And I'm super excited about it. And right here we have what we call the producer desk. Ultimately, this is where the engineer of the podcast show is gonna sit and produce the show. All these Shure microphones go directly into the Rode Podcaster Pro, which makes creating podcast projects pretty easy. This thing's amazing. We've also got the time located here so you can time your podcast or just know what time of day it is. Ultimately, this podcast studio, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun in it, and I'm super excited about it. So come check it out, and let's shoot a podcast for you. Oh yeah, and another thing I love about this studio is all the unique props that we have. Kind of like this traffic light here. We've got a disco ball and a bunch of other really fun items that you can use to dress up the space. We can take these plants, we can move them in, we can move them out. These lights change colors. So you can really give it whatever mood that you're looking for, and I love that.
And that's it for our studio tour. We really appreciate you guys coming. Honestly, this was a big endeavor, and it took us many, many months. We started this process in August of last year. Saw many spaces. This was actually the first space that we saw. But it took us about 3.5 months to really get this dialed in and exactly where we want it. So we're really happy that it's over, to be honest, and that we can start using it for what we intended to use it for.
Yeah, and with that, we learned a lot about what it takes to build a studio. So if any of you guys have any questions or want to reach out and find out how we did something in here or what we plan on doing with it, I'd love to start that conversation with you. If you could follow us on our social media platforms, we would love to invite you on our journey. House.com, Godsey Creative. My name is Justin Godsey.
Michael Delina.
And we're super excited, as we've said many times in this video, to start creating in this space, to collaborate with you on your projects, and see what we can all come up with in 2022 and beyond. Thank you so much.